Jeff, welcome back to Retail Media Thursdays. I think this is becoming a bit of an annual tradition to do this in Cannes.
It is, and let's just keep it rolling. Every year we'll just keep doing our Retail Media Thursday when we're here. But one of these days we're going to actually have to do it at a bar because that's where you take everybody else.
We're here at Cannes. It's the home of creativity. Now, I think one of the other buzzwords, one of the things you said we're looking forward to this week is AI. I know there's a lot of user cases with AI where it's going to help to kind of democratize creative, help us to be able to create at scale, but is it going to take away true creativity? I've come from an advertising background. I used to work at Ogilvy, and it's the thing I'm worried about is we're just going to start relying on GenAI and AI and everything's going to become really boring.
Yeah, I don't think it will take away true creativity. I think that it's still going to take a creative mind to see if the output is catching the emotion that you want to come from an ad, right? And so I think the roles are going to change, but I don't think the output is going to ultimately change, because at the end of the day, the creative teams that come up with some of these really ingenious campaigns are able to tap into an emotion to get a consumer to consider something or to connect to something or to want to buy something. And, AI by its nature doesn't have emotion. And so it can take the inputs that you give it and it can generate the outputs, but still you need to put a critical eye to it to determine whether that's meeting needs. Now, what will it do? Well, it might actually give you an inspiration that you weren't thinking of before. And so if we think about like the development of the cell phone, and it doesn't matter whether it's Apple or Android or whatever, you could shoot a full commercial now on one of those phones. So has that taken away from like the production companies that are still doing full productions? No, but it has created a democratization, allowing people who never were filming before to be able to be amateur filmers or even professional filmers. So I think when we look at GenAI and its impact on our space, there will be people that will be critical of it and there will be people that will be excited about it. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to democratize and make it more available for brands to scale in ways that we've never seen before.
Yeah, absolutely. Sports is clearly a major focus for Amazon here this week. And it feels like there's a very significant opportunity actually unfolding in that area. What kind of experiences are you creating for brands around your sports properties?
Yeah, I think sports is a big area for Amazon, not just this week, but this year. Amazon has announced several new sports partnerships with the NBA, the WNBA. We launched NASCAR this year. But even beyond that, within live sports, we have regional sports that if you're only based in the US, you may not be aware of, where we're broadcasting tennis more in Europe, or football in Europe, or cricket in India, right? There's all different sports that are happening in all different countries, and Amazon has a plethora of those sports to meet the audience where they want to be met. And I think what's awesome about live sports is that it's timely, right? People watch live sports live. Mm-hmm. It's very rare to go back and watch a game recorded, which means you're capturing somebody at a time where their attention is the highest. There's also great opportunities to build partnerships with a lot of the sports properties, so you can be more integrated into these besides just your ads showing up. And all of these are just creating more and more opportunities to use the full plethora of the Amazon canvas to understand how your ads are reaching new audiences, and then how are they bringing them all the way through to activation. Now, that activation could be on your own website, that activation could be on the Amazon website, or it could be your omni-channel impact. And all of those are measurable today, giving brands a great insight into how streaming television is changing how they're thinking of broadcasting to their customers.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned there that activation could be on their own website or the Amazon website. And obviously we're seeing Amazon start to create a lot more of these off-site experiences and ad formats. When we combine that with something like GenAI and we start to see that the consumer experience on these retail websites is going to fundamentally change as well in the future. Like, they're probably not going to be searching for keywords anymore. It's probably going to be a lot more kind of experience based and asking questions. Do you think we're at the start of the kind of the beginning of the end of the keyword and sponsored search the way it is today? Like, what does all this mean for the future of retail media?
I don't think we're at the beginning of the end. It's too early to know whether one thing is going to completely change the behavior of something else. I do think it'll impact it, right? I do think shoppers will shop in different ways in the future, but it's too early to know exactly how they're going to shop. I think what's important for brands to understand is, how do you find new audiences, right? How do you reach incremental shoppers? How do you find shoppers who aren't watching linear TV, but are watching streaming TV? And that's the beauty of like the Amazon offering that they have. How do you drive people to your D2C website, right? 2 years ago, Amazon wasn't talking about driving traffic to your D2C website. So brands who are trying to build their own D2C site can now use Amazon advertising to drive that. And so, however your customer wants to shop and interact with you, Amazon has an offering for you to be thinking about. And I think that's what's exciting, is that, we're one of the premier streaming television channels and set of offerings. Beyond just our owned and operated properties, Amazon also has access to all the third-party deals that are out there as well. And so that allows you to show up in other places, maybe Roku, maybe Paramount Plus, right? All of these other channels that you can then see collectively how your advertising mix is doing.
And it's not just the endemic brands now, right? You said there around driving to your D2C site. This starts to become a lot more appealing for the non-endemic brands too. I had a whole bunch of conversations last week with some non-endemic clients that have recently started advertising through DSP and Twitch. And I don't know about you, we're seeing a lot more interest, especially in the last kind of 6 months, from these non-endemic brands. I think as this trust starts to build. What's your perspective on that? I know we spoke about it last year.
Yeah,
How's it developed?
I think the biggest thing is that it's just taking brands a little while to think about Amazon as something more than a retail channel. Yeah. And I think there's also a fundamental design in the way that brand budgets and performance budgets are managed within organizations. So that again requires a different part of the house who isn't as familiar with Amazon to learn about Amazon. I think some of the sports properties that we have are really waking people up and creating opportunity. I think that some of our partnership deals that we've announced and are announcing are starting to do that. And the brand builders who are used to doing more reach and frequency are seeing opportunities to use Amazon to find incremental audiences and measure the impact. And I think that's a big way forward. And what a lot of our brands are finding is that when they make their upper funnel advertising investment, it's driving the downstream omni-channel impact that they want. And now we can measure that on Amazon. So whether you're a brand who doesn't sell on Amazon and you're trying to drive leads back to your website, or whether you have your D2C site, or whether you're selling on Amazon, we can solve for all of that. And you have to remember, and this is like the shakeup that I keep trying to remind people. It's like, well, do you listen to the Kelsey Brothers in New Heights? That's an Amazon podcast, right? Do you use Alexa Plus? Do you use the Alexa device? Do you have a Fire TV? Are you on Roku? All of these are areas that Amazon has connectivity into that allows you to find audiences and then serve ads and then measure the impact.
One of the, so the client I was talking to the other day, they're a leisure brand. And they said that one of the biggest things, a lot of their spend used to go to Meta, and they said the demographic is just getting so much older now that Amazon's actually helping them just reach younger audiences. That's all they want. It's through all the Amazon properties. That's where the kind of the whatever whatever they are nowadays, the young ones. That's where they are, and they've started to test it, and they're seeing phenomenal results.
Yeah, I mean, I think my answer to that is usually a little more generic, which is that everybody needs to test and figure out where their audience is and who they want to reach. And a channel that may have worked for them before may not be as valuable today, and a channel today may not be as valuable in the future. And so that's just an always testing type of mentality that I've been recommending for a number of years as a way for brands to be thinking about how to measure success and how to measure the return on investment. I think the biggest thing that people have to think about with Amazon, though, is more than just what are the old metrics that we were thinking of, the ROAS and the ACost and the tacos, and really be thinking about how does Amazon expand your audience, expand your reach, and drive more potential shoppers to your brand.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're at the end of the official questions, but I like to do the quick fire round. I'm going to be kinder on you.
I'm so bad at this.
No, I promise this is a lot easier than last year. So I've kept it to the topic you know best, Amazon.
Okay. And just for the record, I don't get to see these questions ahead of time, so that's why I'm really bad. I can't do game shows.
No, I promise these are easier. What was the last thing you bought on Amazon?
I think it was a belt, because my son stole my belt, and I needed a new one, which meant but I'm like a cool dad because like I had a belt that was cool enough for my kid to steal, so like I considered that a win.
That is a win. What was the last series you binged on Prime or any other Amazon channel?
Reacher. I love the Reacher series. The Reacher was great.
I've just watched White Lotus.
White Lotus was really good.
Weird, but cool.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. It got weirder, but I don't know. I just got off the airplane and watched a few. There's a few airplane movies that I then found out were like Amazon Prime movies, and I was like, that's really cool. There was like this one. It was like a champion. It was about these tennis players. I thought it was actually really, really well done. And I'm excited to go see Mission Impossible. I haven't seen that yet, so that's probably my. It's not really a binge, but I will watch some of the pre-episodes before I go watch the next episode.
Okay, what is your most used Alexa command?
Oh, it's probably turn off the kitchen lights, but I can't say that out loud, or it literally will like turn my lights on or off right now. Because at the end of the night, that's like my, I can tell it to either turn off a room or turn off the whole house, and it takes care of that. So it's kind of like whatever my kids didn't turn off, I can take care of.
I am obsessed with my Alexa. I use her for everything.
Yeah,
turn the kettle on.
Do you have Alexa Plus yet?
No.
Oh, so the new Alexa Plus AI, if you're a Prime member, it's rolling out right now, and it's pretty darn cool. We'll have to do a whole episode on it when it comes out. Yeah, maybe I'll get the Alexa chief evangelist to come on and let him talk to you about it.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Your most regrettable Amazon purchase?
Oh, it was probably something that I bought and then I tried to return and couldn't return because I missed the return deadline. Can't think of one really off the top of my head, but I'm sure I tend to buy things, and then if I don't like them, they sit in the corner and I don't get to the return window, and I just have to kind of eat it.
I've had to start putting things in my basket for about a week now because I buy so much that I don't need, and then I regret it, and then I can't be bothered returning it. So now I leave it, and then I'm like, do I really need this?
Yeah. Sometimes you put things in your basket and then you go to check out and you don't realize that one of the things you checked out was in your basket, but you hadn't really thought about whether you wanted to buy it or not.
Okay, and last question. What is on your list for Prime Day? What are you saving, ready to buy?
My answer might be the same as last year, but it's going to be a lot of college stuff because I have my second child going to college, and so it'll be a lot of the college stuff that you need for the dorm room. But it's interesting because now it's a boy instead of a girl, so he doesn't really care as much about like everything in the room matching like she did.
Sounds like me.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you, Jeff. It's always good to see you, and I hope you have a great weekend, Can.
Thank you for having me.